I used to work with Tommy Hilfiger. Here's what I think they did wrong. I used to be in the marketing department for the company that worked with Tommy Hilfiger in Scandinavia. We specifically worked with their watch brand, Tommy Hilfiger. I had the responsibility for advertising and social media for Tommy Hilfiger in that area. My time spent in a company, I worked with a lot of different fashion and watch brands, which was amazing. But there was also a lot of frustration when it comes to the marketing side of things, because we have different ideas of what efficient marketing is. So what do I know? Well, my name's Alex. I worked in the watch and luxury space for 3 years, and I've ran my agency for 7 years. We work with a lot of different businesses across the globe with their marketing, advertising, and brand positioning. Personally, I've spent around $40 million on advertising, and these are some of my hot takes on working with Tommy Hilfiger. The first one is it's a bit rigid, which means the company kind of sets the tone. The holding company sets the tone for everything that we do. We need to kind of just follow their lead, and that's it for the entire year, which kind of feeds into the annual marketing plan, which is great to have overview of how much money we have to spend, but also kind of what direction we want to take the brand in. But that in turn makes us lack creativity, and there aren't much room for creative ideas or creative ways to market the brand and reach out to new types of customers or get repeat purchases from the customers that already bought. Lack of the creative freedom means we have this master document that we need to follow. These are all the creatives for a year in all advertising, all branding, which means if you run ads like we do, and if you're watching this, you probably run ads or are looking to run ads yourself, we need to test a lot of different content, especially now. It means that we don't have enough content to test, which means, again, the advertising will have this curve. It will usually go up and then it will just flatline, because in the beginning of the year, we receive all the creatives for the year, and that's it. There is no refill, there's no refresh, there is no testing. This works, so we double down on that, what works. So we kind of get stuck with, okay, that's the content we have, and that's it. With that lack of freedom and lack of creative freedom, there isn't any differences in our marketing to a different country, different area. So it's kind of hard to measure the impact of our marketing towards different countries or different marketers or different marketing strategies. Also, when you work with these huge companies, there is some lack of speed. Again, there isn't much things to have speed on because there isn't much creative freedom. But when we have ideas, when we are kind of going back and forth, there are many levels of approval before we get something approved or can move forward with an event or something we want to do. These are huge, huge companies, but it also hurts the marketing side of things, the branding side of things, if we don't get to test and the decision making takes 3 months. I also think picking the right type of brand ambassadors, influencers is important, especially in this era, as well as the market you're trying to reach. When I worked with them, Zendaya was kind of front facing for Tommy Hilfiger watches, which is great for like the women involved, which obviously we had a couple of good years with the brand, but it also hurts the brand long term if we don't update or test different advertising or different branding positionings, which we didn't do. We had this annual plan and the same plan for next year. Often these plans are 2 year long, and we didn't get like different brand positionings or brand faces to test, and it kind of hurt their growth because 1 year is up and then another brand which is close to them, like Hugo Boss in the same kind of category, updates their face of brand or kind of their marketing, which means they kind of go like this and then they cross and then they do that forever. So for one of them to actually win, they need to improve on these things, like more creative freedom, more testing, obviously more content. So what did I take away from this? And what can you learn from working with these huge brands? First of all, it's obviously a huge privilege to work with these brands, put them on my resume, and also get insights into how they work. What I learned from this is the underdog, or if you have less budget, kind of up-and-coming brand, you have some clear advantages that could help you beat these brands and give you a lot of revenue and market share as well. It means being quicker, testing faster, testing different approaches and different positionings, which for them would take a year, if not longer, to approve and actually go into and test. The only thing they're kind of beating you on is the distribution, when of course they have access to every single physical store, and of course the amount of money they're able to spend. So what you should do is obviously test more creative, get into, take a look at how these brands do it, and obviously learn from them, but also counter their positioning as well as their kind of lack of creativity and lack of speed when it comes to branding and advertising. We work with brands like Tommy Hilfiger or huge other watch and jewelry brands. At This Marketing, we help you grow and improve these brand positionings. We help you test and scale your premium brand to the next level. My background, like I said, is in these kind of niches. We worked with Hugo Boss, Tommy Hilfiger, Tisento, Seiko, Grand Seiko. So if you have any questions when it comes to marketing, branding, or advertising, let me know in the comments below and I'll get to them as soon as possible. Please subscribe. I'll be here every week. And if you have a brand that wants to grow, let's jump on a call. You find the link in the description.